Good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? How is everybody? Oh, I was looking through my Celtic Devotional for this particular section, and I thought I would start this morning by reading you some of the activities for winter months. Activities for winter months. Practice introspection, meditation, contemplation, drawing upon the peaceful sanctuary of the season. Shift burdens by doing something about them or giving up unnecessary patterns. Remember your ancestors and celebrate their wisdom. In this deep season of darkness and introspection, seek the sun at midnight, the rich treasures that lie in the lap of winter. Be aware of the ancestral teachers, the grandparents and elders of spiritual traditions whose footsteps have kept the pathways open. Cut back on old growth in the garden and compost it, dig over the soil and prepare for spring. Walk and meditate outdoors for at least 10 minutes daily. Identify the nature of the soil and rock forms of your locality and how this affects the life forms who live upon the land. Be active with like-minded others in recording, preserving, living, learning about the ancient wisdom of indigenous peoples, especially those of your own land. As you travel through the land of winter, relate your spiritual journey to the wisdom of this season. So those are just some activities for winter months out of the Celtic Devotional. Good day, everyone. It is Thursday morning. It is 6:45, December 14th. It's almost 6:45. I started a little early. Now it's 6:45. 6:45 on Thursday morning, December 14th, 2023. We are in the tide of preparation, fall equinox to winter solstice. I do encourage you to subscribe, hit the bell icon, join us, share these if you find inspiration, if you find help, if these are things that help you, maybe they'll help somebody else. Don't be stingy, share. What else? Oh yes, solstice is coming up. So exciting. So we're gonna start with the Animal Spirit Guidebook. Rabbit is the card I drew today. Rabbit. Look at the cute little rabbit. So adorable. It says, Rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it, so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when you are scared. Most often about the future, we become our own worst enemy. We spin up dust cloud of fear and then complain about it to others that we are lost. Notice our thoughts and words on Rabbit. They shape our destiny. When in balance, sensitive, a problem solver, and a good listener. When out of balance, over-explains, talks fast. To bring into balance, a day of silence. I think of rabbits a little differently, but in this oracle, that's the rabbit. Good to know. Something in my eye that is not my eye. Okay. Next card is Dragonfae of the West. Open your mind to the unexpected. This allows for the universe to intervene on your behalf and set the most balanced Let's start over again. This allows for the universe to intervene on your behalf and set the most blessed manifestation in motion for your benefit. To surrender attachment does not mean that you stop caring or wanting things to be a certain way. It means that you are willing for the universe to show you the superior way to accomplish your mission. Such surrender will likely elicit a series of unexpected changes and encounters as the universe nudges you in the right direction. Know that you will be able to manage all twists and turns with skill. Believe in the goodness that is guiding you and trust your abilities. Your soul has been maturing and spiritual harvest is imminent. Soon you will realize that your time has come. As the soul grows, the mind becomes more conscious and free when relating to the material world and why one chooses to invest or divest oneself of certain possessions at certain times. To be able to build a successful business devoted to your sacred work might be a profound act of love and spiritual growth, particularly if you tend more towards flightiness and have to learn to commit and anchor yourself to something for long enough with enough energy and effort to have it grow. The willingness to practice rigorous self-inquiry to keep your motivations pure is part of the ongoing spiritual cost of running that business and fulfilling your life's work. I really think that's a key piece. So I talk to people all the time about, you should probably pursue these things that you love to do. And it's really easy to become ungrounded and not know how to anchor taking a passion that you love and anchoring it in a real business-minded, make money, do that thing in life. Sorry, my bangs are like doing weird things and it's driving me crazy because all I do is see myself in this camera. So, talk about flighty. That's a flighty explanation. So where I was going with this is, if you're working in spiritual stuff, one of the things that often happens is people get so lost in the spiritual stuff that they have no acumen, they have no staying power when it comes to day-to-day stuff. And I completely struggled with this years and years and years ago with my first business, many years ago. I had a store that I sold metaphysically things, rocks and stones, and I did tarot readings. And when I first started, I didn't really know how to take the spiritual side of stuff and marry it with the practical side of stuff to make enough money for that business to grow. I didn't. And I had to learn those things over time. And I was not good at it to start with. I wasn't good at it at all. And I became better at it. Over time, I became much better at it. And I don't have a metaphysical store now. There's another one that's opened up in town, and so that's per capita probably what we're at in Bozeman. It doesn't mean I don't have dreams and aspirations to do that again. But it's important to ground your work in the real world. And I think that too often healers, metaphysical workers, those that work in energy medicine or astrology or what have you, coaching is really, really popular right now. And there's a lot of coaches that have absolutely no counseling, or they have no social work or educational background that gives them those qualifications. So that's a whole nother topic. But they have business acumen. And so they're able to move that forward. And if they don't have business acumen and they just say, well, the universe will bring me who I need, that only works so far, because I too have followed that path. I too did, well, I'm a psychic, so the people that I need or that need me will be drawn to me. That only works so far. You still have to look at what is the paradigm that you're putting out there, what is the energy you're putting out there. And I think Rabbit is a really good card for this, because Rabbit gets easily overwhelmed. He's terrified of what if it doesn't work, what if they're not successful, things like that. Aster, get off the counter. Get off the counter. She's been getting on the counter every morning, and I think it's because my attention is split. So there's a lot of stuff that I love how it says here, notice your thoughts and words, rabbit on rabbit, because they shape your destiny. So if you're wanting to fulfill your spiritual practice, you're wanting to do something that helps the world, look at what it is that you've trained to do, look at what is your expertise. So, for example, I happen to know someone who is a engineer. She, many years ago, went to Africa a couple times, and she worked with people with building water things in Africa. She has, I think her bachelor's was biology. Like she really had this design, I think, that she was going to do one thing, and yet the fear of whether or not that was going to be accomplished really trapped her in this spiral place of, I want to do a good thing, but I don't know how to get there. I got involved with this organization. There was a lot of fear, and the project only went so far. And one of the things that we used to talk about, this client and I, was that, well, she became a friend, but she was also a client, that she needed to work through the fear paradigm. So we did some shadow work with her, and then she went off and kind of did some other things for a couple years, and then COVID happened, and then she came back to me. And one of the things that when she came back, she wanted to work on more of that shadow work. And working on the shadow work, one of the things that bubbled up was that to surrender attachment does not mean you stop caring or wanting things to be a certain way, okay? So there was that. It means that you are willing for the universe to show you the superior way to accomplish the mission. The universe will always nudge you in the right direction. So she had come back to me, we worked on some shadow stuff, and within weeks of her first session back with me, she had gotten a phone call from this organization she'd been involved with years ago. And she was currently, when she came back to me, she was in the last year of nursing school. And she was really passionate about it, and she wants to be a nurse practitioner. And this organization, again, building water things in Africa. And she hadn't heard from this person in a couple years, and she was really excited about it, and she still wanted to do it. Only now that she was so close to her nursing degree, she really wanted to take her nursing degree and maybe go and do nursing with Doctors Without Borders or something. There's some kind of organization that as a nurse you can do that. I don't know if that's the right one. And it popped up, and it was, hey, we'd like you to come work with us. And she was in a juxtaposition of choice between going ahead and going forward with her nurse practitioner, continuing with school right away, or go and work. And it was a really cool thing that she came to me and she was terrified. She's like, oh my God, but what if I don't finish my nursing and become a nurse practitioner? And what if I get sidetracked? And I think I just got on my track. And Rabbit was really coming up. And she's an outdoorsy lady, and it was springtime, well, late spring, so early summer. It's just about the time that you can go up and go camping. And her husband had asked her if she wanted to go up to the mountains that weekend, and she was like, no, I can't do that. I have this project due. And she basically only had 10% left of her project to do, and it was due the next Wednesday. She had plenty of time. She wasn't working that week. And I told her, I said, why don't you take advantage using rabbit energy, why don't you take advantage and go out into the woods? I think you're going to find some clarity in that. And she went out into the woods. She texted me Monday morning. She goes, the answer, I got it. I got the answer. I had no idea what the answer was. And then I didn't see her for 2 weeks, and then she came back and we had another appointment. We were tying up this process, and there's this shadow work process I work with people on sometimes. And so you come and do a session, and then you work on it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you come back. So it's not like an every single week thing. Like, you go and do things. And we were at the tail end of this process, and she was so tickled. She goes, I found it, Red, I found it. And I was like, what? And she said, I'm gonna go to Africa and I'm gonna work for a year. And what's cool is my husband gets to go with me. And I was like, really? What's he gonna do? And his job, I don't remember what he did or does, sorry. But whatever he does, he had been at that job like almost 8 full years, and he could apply for a 1-year sabbatical. So he took a sabbatical and was going with her, and she was only going to go for a year. She decided to sign a 1-year contract with them. And so she is off in Africa right now, working with this organization, building water things, and also practicing her nursing, because she graduated like 3 or 4 weeks after I had talked to her at the last of our shadow sessions, and I saw her one more time before she left, and she was so excited. So what I'm saying is that she started in a direction. When I met her, she was doing one thing. She had a degree in another thing. She was going to go to Africa and do this other thing. And she had all these designs and ideas and the way it should be. And she was constantly feeling as though she was being knocked off task, and there were always things in the way, and she was terrified she was never going to be able to do the things she wanted to do. And she had kind of resigned herself that those things were never going to happen. But she's a really good example of somebody that she misinterpreted out of fear, like, oh, I'm never going to get there. And she got swallowed into that fear place. And it took 5 more years, really, to get her to the place where she is doing the things that she loves to do. She's in Africa and she's having a blast. And there is a personal journey that comes with things sometimes, that to do the things she wants to do, heal people and work with people who are disadvantaged, and she really wanted to spend time in Africa, which is a beautiful dream and a wonderful idea. And she wanted to do these things, but she needed to do her work first. And it was through the shadow work that we did together. Well, she did it. I just kind of gave her a framework and helped her kind of see things. But she did this amazing, really difficult shadow work. And that really difficult shadow work made the opportunity that came to her easier for her to see. The shadow work helped her take advantage of the camping event, take advantage of all the work that she had been doing to be able to fulfill her dream. They kept their house here in the area. They're coming back. She's gonna go to her nurse practitioner school. She's not done with her journey, but she's doing right now something that she had dreamed of doing 5-7 years ago, that she was really depressed and very upset and very discouraged when it didn't happen before. So there's a quality of, in this particular card, this card right here, Dragonfae of the West, that know that you will be able to manage the twists and turns. The universe will always nudge you in the right direction. It may not be that your vision is wrong of what it is that you want to do or the direction you want to go, but you have to also be willing to take advantage of the work opportunities that the universe gives you to do the personal work, so that when the universe brings you to that place of decision, it's at the right time and the place. The timing will work out, and you will be able to do the things you need to do. And rabbit is key in this. Like, sometimes you have to not swirl about in the fear, but make the connections with the people that are in your world to find the connections that will help heal you, that will help you work on your shadow work, and give you the opportunity to, I love how it says here, when in balance, sensitive, a problem solver, a good listener. And when out of balance, gets swapped up in that fear circle. So she didn't do a day of silence. She just went up into the mountains and did camping with her husband for 2 nights in the weekend. And that was her solution to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, get away from her cell phone and her computer and her homework and her projects and all the things, so that she could focus on the stillness that she needed and the connection to the earth energy to be able to make a decision that would guide her where she needed to go. And it all worked out. It all worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. So I think the big lesson and the big devotional theme for today is understanding that the universe does not, what you think should be may not be what happens, but you have to rely and trust on the universe, trust your connections with other people, and trust the journey, that it leads you to the lesson you need. Don't get caught up in the fear swirl. Fear swirls are awful, you know, and sometimes we just need to talk to somebody about it. So if you have a counselor, if you have a therapist, those are great. If you have somebody you know that is a coach that can do a coaching support call to help you if you get caught in that swirl, just make sure you're working with somebody who understands how to get you out of that fear swirl. Because that fear swirl, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people. I mean, there are people who know how to help people out of that. But that's what you want. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who can help you reflect and help you step out of that fear cycle. And that's really important. I hope you all have a beautiful day. If you have any questions, I have a few minutes. If you would like to ask questions. I know I told a big, long story. Shadow work is, I think, scary for people, and it's not scary. It's just, it really makes you look at what needs to change in yourself, in your situation, in your circumstance, in whatever it is that's happening. And there are some really good practitioners that I know of that are in the Body of 9 community that know about shadow work and know how to work people through that. If anybody's interested, let me know. One big one is Safriana Luna, and she has founded an organization called Living Luna. You can look her up. She's really good. She knows practitioners that know all about the shadow stuff. Anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Leave comments if you watch this later, and ask me questions. I'm still tossing around the idea of doing like live psychic type threads. I think I am gonna put a poll out there. I don't know if I'm gonna have time today. It might be next week before I do it, but keep your eye out for it. And I look forward to talking to you again. This is Daily Devotional. My name is Red Moon Eagle, and I hope you all have a blessed day, and I will see you in prayer tomorrow. Blessed be.